Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss about the solutions of early problems of Pakistan in 1947 and till many early years, even till 1960, these solutions were going on. But the first 3 years, 1947 till 1951, 52, were the most important ones because most of these steps were taken at that time. And these were the foundations of upcoming new institutions which were there in Pakistan. Now, let me give you an introduction by the pictures. So let's have a pictorial introduction of the topic. This is State Bank of Pakistan in Karachi. State Bank of Pakistan was established by Quaid-e-Azam. Refugees who were coming from India. They were given this kind of living in the beginning. Refugees rehabilitation camps were established where temporarily these refugees stayed, and then later on they moved ahead. Food was supplied, food trucks were daily coming and providing food to these people in this manner. In many areas where refugees were there, they were given the pitchers and they were getting their water share in this manner. There, Quaid-e-Azam visited different politicians and different communities time to time and addressed them and gave them the line to work. And the line to work was basically dependent upon Iman, Ittihad, and Tanzim. And he wanted unity, faith, and discipline as the main motto of the country. Here we can see some other things are also, some symbols are also there. This is the stamp of Pakistan, which is mostly there on our government institutions papers. And if we see this stamp, it's a very purpose-built stamp which is taken. Hilal and star shows that we believe in Islamic calendar, and we believe in Islamic values, rules, regulations. Here we can see cotton flower. It means that cotton will be our main export as we grow mostly cotton in Pakistan, rice and sugarcane. So these three are the main exports of Pakistan which are shown in this stamp, and handicrafts are also there. And in this manner, if we see these flower petals and branches, we can see that Pakistan is going to mostly grow, and greenery and vegetation and agriculture will be the main source of income for this country and main foundation income source and export source in this country. Later on, even industries were established on the same basis. Agro-based industries were established. Here we can see the initial politicians and assembly which was elected in the beginning at the time of establishment of Pakistan, and they worked for the lawmaking. Not only for the lawmaking, they are sitting outside the assembly hall, and they were not only in the lawmaking and early establishment of the government, but they were the main founders of Pakistan movement also, and they were very active people who were working along with Quaid-e-Azam and under his guidance. This was the rupee introduced in the beginning. We can see Quaid-e-Azam's picture was later on endorsed on this, but this was the one which was currency note in the beginning. Here we can see that mostly those workers who were voluntarily working for army and forces and police and for law and discipline and other activities, they were working and supporting Pakistan on volunteer basis. They were quite organized and they loved Pakistan, and they played a very important role in the establishment of this state. Now let's move ahead and see the details related to these all facts. In these solutions, you can see first one was about the refugees rehabilitation fund was established. When 1 million refugees, 1 million people were there who were killed from coming from India to Pakistan, and their rest of the family members who were alive, they entered in Pakistan, but they were in pathetic conditions. There was food shortage, there were shortage of medical facilities, and a lot of other problems were there. So in this manner, Quaid-e-Azam established Refugees Rehabilitation Fund. Public of Pakistan generously paid donations in this fund, and government also tried its best to pay donations and pay for this, and in this manner refugees were rehabilitated in the very beginning years. Afterwards, this fund allocated empty houses and lands to these refugees. They were taken, claims were taken from them, but whatever they had left in India, and that kind of the same kind of properties and lands as they had left in India, those were given to them as a replacement in Pakistan. So they settled over there, and many of them are still settled in the same properties. Then and civil servants training institute was also established, because in the beginning we had lack of trained civil servants who could administer the country in a proper manner. So that institution was established, and training of civil servants started, and civil servants was given the training on such lines that they were the servants of the nation, not the masters of the nation, like in the British era. Excuse me. State Bank of Pakistan was also established in Karachi. Karachi was the capital, and Quaid-e-Azam mainly donated his all wealth for the establishment of State Bank of Pakistan. And then many rich people also raised funds in this bank. Many donations were also given. And in this manner, the Treasury of Pakistan, first Treasury of Pakistan was established, where Pakistan was able to take medicines and food and pay salaries to the workers and servants in this manner. Membership of United Nations was also taken by Quaid-e-Azam, and it was very important because this membership paid very well to Pakistan. It not only raised the issue of Kashmir and gave solution of Kashmir, resolutions related to the solution of Kashmir on the basis of public opinion, plebiscite, but also it supported Pakistan in the establishment of canal water settlements, because Pakistan's water was stopped by India. So it solved this issue in, it kept working for this, and finally in 1960 canal water dispute was solved, and four rivers were there which were there in India, which were Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj. And two of these rivers were given to India, that they could definitely stop the water, and they were the owners, while Jhelum and Chenab were kept independent, and those could not be stopped by India. Later on, United Nations supported Pakistan to establish its canal irrigation system, which is the best and largest canal irrigation system of the world. And they not only gave the plan, but also financed that and established link canal system through Jhelum, Chenab and Ravi and Satluj Beas. So in this manner, the water of Jhelum and Chenab is divided and distributed and shared in Ravi and Satluj also. And in this manner, whole area of Punjab, whole province of Punjab is getting a fair distribution of water, and agriculture boosted a lot. It happened in 1960. Application was given in 1947 by Quaid-e-Azam, but finally this was an excellent solution. And along with that, it provided dams also. Tarbela Dam and Mangla Dam were established with the help of United Nations, which were the main source of electricity at that time. Then Quaid-e-Azam decided that there must be some interim constitution, because Pakistan's permanent constitution was not established up to that time. So it was decided that interim constitution would be taken, that country may be able to set its system, and officials may know who how they are going to work, and who is their boss, and what will be the hierarchy of office working. So Government of India Act 1935 was already there in the subcontinent as the act introduced by the British government. There were some un-Islamic things. It was trimmed, and then afterwards un-Islamic things were removed from that, and it was introduced in the country. It continued working in Pakistan for a long time. Pakistan got its first constitution in 1956, and till then, since 1947 till 1956, this constitution kept working, but assembly was also trying its best to establish a permanent constitution for Pakistan, which was later on achieved. So Quaid-e-Azam at that time had seen that due to the unfair division of Red Cliff, awarding lands in an unfair manner, in a non-disciplined manner, citizens became the enemies of each other. Here Quaid-e-Azam declared that all minorities who were living in Pakistan, they were the part of Pakistan. They were the citizens of Pakistan. They had full right, and he declared himself not the Governor General, but the Protector General of all these minorities. He had many speeches in which he declared that minorities have the rights, and even non-Muslims living in Muslim states must be given full rights as citizens, and they must not be killed, they must not be treated harshly and badly, and they must be given full rights as citizens. So this was very useful. It developed peace and calmness in the society, and society started working on such lines where Pakistan started moving towards prosperity instead of grudges and prejudices. Another step taken by him, he believed in agro-based industries because Pakistan was an agricultural country, and we were mostly developing this and converting this agricultural material into useful products by handicrafts. So he believed that if at first stage we develop agro-based industries in Pakistan, we would be able to establish the foundation of industries in our country. And for this purpose, as government had not enough money, Pakistan did not get its fair share from India, and monetary problems were there. So private sector was invited by Quaid-e-Azam to establish industries, and private money in this manner played a very important role. Many industries at small scale sale in the beginning, and then those industries became large industries, and now there is a list of industries in Pakistan. If we see, all aspects are covered by these industries. Their foundations started as small industries from private sector, and later on these industries grew, but the beginning of that was taken as a initiative taken by Quaid-e-Azam. Bengali was demanded to be the official language when only Urdu was declared as the national language. So Quaid-e-Azam quickly understood this thing, and he declared that there was no difference if it was feasible, if Bengalis were happy by that, both Urdu and Bengali could be the national languages. So in this manner, in the beginning, whatever official papers were there, those were printed in both languages on the same page. Whatever orders were there, those were printed on the same page in both languages. And in this manner, those Bengali people who were working in the offices and West Pakistani people working in the offices, everyone was easily working in with the help of such documents. So it solved the problem of language grudges. Then it was a very grave problem that Pakistan was not given its ammunition share. India threw Pakistan's share of ammunition on its coastal areas where it rusted, and Pakistan didn't pick it up because it was useless. Pakistan, from the very beginning, established its own ammunition factory. There was heavy mechanical industry already working in Texla. So Quaid-e-Azam decided to establish Pakistan's own ammunition factory at Wah, Texla, and that is the factory which is still there, and Alhamdulillah, that is working in an excellent manner. Now, there was the problem that army soldiers and officers were less in Pakistan. Many of those who gave their applications to the British government in India that they wanted to be transferred to Pakistan, those officers and soldiers, when they were coming through a train, they were all of them were killed on the way. That train was attacked by Sikhs, and then everyone was killed. There was the problem that Pakistan must have its own new officers by civil services and other training institutions, and its soldiers for army. Then army officers are also required. So Pakistan started giving commission to the to officers and soldiers in the beginning to fulfill this deficiency. There was a protocol, a system introduced by Quaid-e-Azam, according to which in the beginning it was commission was given on temporary basis, and then later on it was in proper lines. It was decided how to give commission to army officers and soldiers, and Pakistan's first foundation of appointing army was set at that time. Karachi was declared capital, and Karachi, if we see, is a seaport. Now Islamabad is the capital, but in those days Karachi was declared capital because it was the most developed city of Pakistan. Secondly, Bangladesh, which is now Bangladesh, that was East Pakistan, part of Pakistan at that time. So it was easier for East Pakistanis to travel through sea, and then they could enter in Karachi as capital, and they could work over there in the secretariat and other institutions and lawmaking institutions and assembly. So it was basically Karachi was the center point between West Pakistan and East Pakistan. Most of the buildings were also in right shape in Karachi. Roads were well established. So in this manner, it was easier to take it as capital. So first capital, Karachi was taken, and Secretariat General was also established over there. Official working started in a proper manner. In those days, it was seen that when Pakistan movement was going on, mostly people were having their activity to come out on the roads and work for Pakistan movement. Especially students had this habit of carrying the flags and moving on the roads with slogans of Pakistan. Now there was the time that Pakistan was established, but it was the time to pay attention to nation building, unity, and plus education. So that is why Quaid-e-Azam toured Pakistan, and he had a number of speeches in different cities of Pakistan where he explained it to the public. Now there is not the time to have processions. Now there is not the time to come out on the roads, and there is the time to give your attention and give your potential in obtaining your education in a peaceful manner, in working for your institutions wherever you are, wherever, whatever role you are playing in the betterment of the society. So Quaid-e-Azam set the foundation of public thinking now in this manner, in this direction, that they must work for a prosperous Pakistan instead of coming out on the roads and just celebrating all the time. It was the time when Pakistan was an independent country. So there was previously Pakistan's flag was only when whatever flag was picked up during the Pakistan movement was the green cloth, and there was a crescent and star on that. But Quaid-e-Azam decided that there must be a length and width of the flag. Secondly, as minorities are also living in this country, so there must be some representation of minorities also in the flag. That is why in the flag of Pakistan, along with green, there is some part of white color also, which shows peaceful environment for the minorities in Pakistan. So in this manner, at that time, Pakistan's flag was decided. National anthem, which was very popular. It is like a prayer. It was also written by a poet, Hafiz Jalandhari, and that was also introduced. There is a special way of singing national anthem, which was later on sung in schools and colleges and offices and National Assembly. So it was also decided at that time to develop a uniform system in the country's main motto, unity, faith, and discipline, was adopted, and now Quaid-e-Azam wanted the whole nation to behave in this manner with the unity, without any differences, faith in Allah that we are going to, as we had got this country in the name of Islam, we were going to be prosperous, we were going to be in better conditions and better situations, hardships would go away, and there was the need of disciplined efforts. So with this motto, Quaid-e-Azam gave this message to the whole nation again and again in his speeches, and it was taken in writing also. Pamphlets were distributed in newspapers, it was published. He wanted public to think in this manner, that these are our main aims, to set our nation in this manner. Newest National Assembly was also given the task to establish a new constitution of the country, because at the moment country was using previous constitution, and it was amended one. But now Quaid-e-Azam wanted that there must be an independent new proper constitution of Pakistan, and that is why he gave this task to the National Assembly and his assembly members to work rigorously and establish a new constitution as soon as possible, that Pakistan may be able to work in an appropriate manner according on the democratic and Islamic democratic lines. So these were the steps taken by him, and later on, after his death also, his workers kept working in the same manner. And Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is in a very better shape than whatever was there, the situation in the beginning. Though Quaid-e-Azam worked as the Governor General of Pakistan for just for 1 year, and then he died on 11th September 1948. But number, if we, but the number of services he provided to the country, those, if some common person starts working, those were going to take many years. But those steps which were taken immediately by him, those proved very successful for the country, and those were the foundation of all the institutions which were in the coming years and in future. And Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is working well. It's a nuclear power, and our people know, our generations know how important it is to remain in their country and to be the patriots. Thank you. This is the end of the session. Thank you so very much. Allah Hafiz.